Hi everyone, welcome to the Tormek studio here in Lindesberg, Sweden. We're back with our live sharpening class. Today's episode is part 6, and today is a good day because not only are we doing drill bit sharpening, but we also have a new face in front of the camera. Pontus, welcome Pontus.
Thank you, Sebastian.
He might be a new face in front of the camera, but at Tormek he has been almost as long as I am old. Not completely true, but almost. But I'll let you present yourself, Pontus.
Well, I've been here for, this year is 25 years, so I've been here for a while. And right now I'm working as a COO here at Tormek, and I'm also responsible for some of our international markets.
You have done pretty much everything at Tormek during this, I would say. Great. For those who haven't seen the shows before, I should present myself as well. My name is Sebastian, and I'm a country sales manager here at Tormek. I'm responsible for Western Europe, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. Behind the camera, we have Emma. Welcome, Emma. Great. Back at today's episode then. So, as I said, we're going to do drill bit sharpening with our drill bit jig, the DBS-22. We will be sharpening for approximately 45 minutes an hour, depending on how well Pontus is doing, joke aside, about how many questions you have. It's live, so we like for you viewers to ask questions. If you feel that we haven't been able to answer your question properly during the show, please comment below after the show and we will try to answer it in writing afterwards. Before I let Pontus, who is very eager, start sharpening and unpacking the DBS-22, I thought I would go through some terminology with you, the viewers, which hopefully facilitates for you during the episode. For some of you, this might be very basic. For some of you, it's never heard of. But I'll go through it anyway. So Emma, if you come a bit closer. Thank you, Pontus. So here we have a traditional drill bit. If you see this picture here, is a drill bit taken from in front, from the point view, but enhanced. And what we are trying to do, or what we do with our jig, is that we sharpen a 4-facet drill bit. And we have the white areas you see here, are marked with P, are the primary facets. So we have 2 primary facets, and the light gray areas, these 2, marked with S, are our secondary facets. So as I said, it's a 4-facet point, 2 primaries, 2 secondaries, and our aim or goal is to make all 4 of them creating a point in the middle. The advantage with this is that the drill doesn't wander on the material. You get a nice clean hole with a well-sharpened drill. Also, you don't create any heat, which is good for the drill. It makes it last longer. So you will hear this many times during today's episode, primary facet and secondary facets. Good. If we go over here, we will also be talking a lot about point angle. So point angle is the angle of the point of the drill. And here you can choose with different settings from 90 degrees up till 150 degrees. You can choose which point angle you like. So either a smaller angle or a larger angle. I will come a bit back to that depending on materials and so on. We will also be talking about clearance angle. And here we can choose a clearance angle between 7, 9, 11 and 14 degrees. And the clearance angle is actually the relation between the primary facet and the secondary facet. We will talk more about it during the show, but just so you get the basic of it. Here is some recommendations. If you want a larger point angle when you drill in aluminium, for example, harder steel like HSS steel, stainless steel, or in plexiglass. In plexiglass is because with a larger point angle you avoid creating cracks in the plexiglass. Also, if you have a hard material you're drilling in, you want a smaller clearance angle. If you have a soft material you're drilling in, you want a larger clearance angle. If you have a large drill, you often want a smaller clearance angle. And if you have a small drill, you want a larger clearance angle. Good, I think that's enough theory for the moment. we will get back to all these different terminologies, but I think I will let Pontus get started on unpacking the DBS-22.
Yes, and here how it looks like when it comes. It's quite heavy, and inside you will find an instruction, and we have this in 10 languages. And when you open up, it looks like quite complicated.
Yeah, it looks a bit frightening almost. It's a lot of metal. It's heavy as well.
Yeah.
But it is, it's complicated. Perhaps it looks more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of settings, but once you set all the different steps and the setting is correct, it's very easily the actual sharpening. You could put a 7-year-old child sharpen, and also the instructions are very good. So follow the steps in the instructions, or as I did first time I sharpened with it, I looked at the video on tormek.com, and there you have a perfect video where you can follow all the steps. So you just take first step, pause, set it, push play, second step, and so forth. Or you look at Pontus on this live sharpening show and do exactly as he did.
Yes, I will try to follow this instruction as good as I can.
Yes.
And but if you unpack and see what's inside, and this is the drill holder, and you can open it up so you can, it fits like drill bits up to 22 millimeter and down to 3 millimeter.
Good. I missed that in my presentation.
Yeah.
Good that you took it up.
And you also have this base plate and the guide plate, and everything this comes, and you put the drill bits holder like this. And also it comes with a magnifier, and this could be good if you need to look closer to the drill bits, the angle and everything, settings. And then we have this setting template that you are using for setting the distance between the universal support and the stone. And you also have the recommendation for different clearance angle.
And also you set the clearance angle with it as well.
With this, yeah.
Yes. What we could say is everything is in zinc.
Yeah. And if we start, do you have anything else to say about this? No?
No, but perhaps before we said it, we can show that the hole here is, because I think it's easier for Emma to film that way, it's called the Torlock, so it's not perfectly round. This is a patented solution from Tormek, and it makes it much more stable when you put it on. You find it on many of our other jigs as well, but here with such a heavy jig, this is very useful. Just
yeah, it
for
is
the
very
drill
useful.
Jig.
Yeah, and to start up, when we start sharpening a drill bit, we use this template settings, and you put the distance between the universal support and the stone, and you can use either side, it's the same distance, and you put it like this, and then you lock and take it away. Then you know the distance is the correct. And the next step is that you take this base plate, put it on, slide, and here you can see easily how you lock it with this locking knob.
Locking knob behind.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pull it very hard because of the lock. It gets very stable without having to.
And then you slide on the guide plate, and
we can
set it, and then you put the drill bit into the drill holder, and now is you will decide or set the protrusion of the stone, and then you have this stop here on the guide, like this, so get the right distance. And now it comes to the critical part.
Yes, I think this
Yeah.
is almost the most important.
Yeah, and this is what you use. You should have this setting so this cutting edge get parallel to this line, the horizontal line, and if you just loosen up this a little bit and then you twist so you get it quite parallel.
Here the magnifier can help you very
Yeah.
much to see. I don't know if it's difficult to see through the camera if it were parallel there, but you can take the magnifier to see that you're perfectly parallel, especially with small drills. I find the magnifier very helpful.
And if you have good sight, good eyes.
As I lied about my age before, so
Yes.
Yes, it looks perfectly parallel. I like using it even on bigger drills because there is a small bar there and it makes it easier to see that you're parallel.
And next step here now is to, this drill bit has a
Point
angle at 118, and you can check on this guide that this is correct. And if you have other drill bits that you want to have another other angle, you can just use this guide to get it right, set the right angle.
118 is by far the most common,
Yeah.
and I would say the most common clearance angle is 11. But if you see as Pontus is showing here, you can choose all the way from 150 down to 90 degrees. So here is where you set the actual point angle. And now we're on 118.
Yeah. And the final setting is that the clearance angle, and we have decided to have the 11. It's very common too.
Yeah.
And you do it like this. Can you see the two corners should be on the stone at the same time as the plate is on the guide.
It's flat on the guide.
Flat on the guide here. And then you lock.
Perfect. So now we have set the distance, we have set the point angle, we have set the clearance angle, we have set the protrusion.
Yeah.
We're getting closer.
Yes, and now we start with the primary facets to start sharpening.
Yes.
And the thing we have here, we have two stops. And the first stop is the silver.
Yeah.
It's like the P stop, and this is the protrusion stop. The primary facet stop. And the second one is the secondary stop. So we start with the primary stop. And then you use this locking knob to forward down, so this drill bit will be like a millimeter from the stone. And then you start the machine and forward this down to, you can hear the sound a little bit.
You hear the
Close
drill.
down the machine, and then you decide how much material you should take away from the primary facets, from the...
You're correct.
And we start with one turn, and it's like a 0.5 millimeter. And you just take this one like this, and then you lock it with this locking screw. And then we start up, sharpen the primary facets.
Yes.
Back and forward.
So this is the first primary facet. We have two primary facets. But now we start sharpening the first one. And a very good, sometimes if you have bad sight or if the drill is very small, the sound helps you very much to know when you are there as well.
So the first side is almost there now, and you sharpen till this lug get close to this stop.
And now
You can hear that the sound is...
So we're done, first primary.
And we come over the center, that's the important thing. And then we take the second,
Yeah, so
you switch around.
Yeah, you switch around and you take the second
180
primary.
degree. And you can hear that taking less and less.
And here now we're sharpening on the original grindstone. And here, if you have a bigger drill, you can take the SB650 to make it more rough if you want to take away more material. And if you have a smaller drill, you can make it finer.
Yeah. So now the primary facet is sharpened on the both side.
And we're good. So,
Yeah.
so now we have done the primaries, which is first step.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy. You're doing it like a professional, Pontus.
Perfect.
Also, you can sharpen, drills works perfectly with the original stone. You can also use the diamond wheels. When you were sharpening now, you pulled back and forth because you don't want to dig into the stone on one place. If you have the diamond wheels, you practically doesn't have to do anything. You can just let it on one piece and it will, since you won't dig into the stone. But it works perfectly well with original stone.
Yeah.
Great, that was the primaries.
Next step is the secondary facets. And the thing you do, you just unlock this knob and tilt it down and place the drill bit holder to the secondary stop, the black knob. You can see the lug here close to, and then you rise this up
until you touch the
stone, and then you lock it. And after that, you have to put some, so you can have some material away from the drill bit. And it's the same thing. You use this black knob then, and take it one turn.
And you see the
you can see the line
black
here.
lines. You can see that you
know
made
that
one turn.
this is one turn, and it's almost there, 0.5 millimeter. And you just start sharpen the secondary facet.
And here the first time you will sharpen it, it's no problem. But when you've done it a couple of times, the risk is that you sharpen too much on the secondary, so you come over the primary, and then you have to restart and do the secondary, primary again. It's not the end of the world, but it's...
And I often twist around.
Yeah, and take first one secondary a little, and then the other secondary a little, to make sure all four meet in the middle.
The goal is to get all four to meet in the middle. You can see I start with this secondary bevel and it comes up. So I have to do it on both sides a little bit more.
A good tip is to take it up quite often and watch, so you make sure that you don't go too far. And as I said, often the first time it's no problem, but when you get a bit cocky and you have done a couple of drill bits, you try to speed things up, but it's just an extra minute or something like that. It's not more than that.
And when you're getting closer,
the magnifier.
The magnifier is perfect to use. So you can see that it's almost there, but you have to do a little bit on both sides. But it's better to do this a little bit often.
Yeah.
So you don't need to make it again, but that's not the whole world.
No, it's...
If you have to do the primary facet again. And sometimes if you need to adjust this a little bit more, if you have to take away more material on the secondary bevel, you can just adjust this.
Just one more turn.
One more turn or half a turn. So, what do you think about this?
You impressed me, Pontus. It looks very good. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. If I try to... I don't know how you see it, but here we have all the 4 points are perfectly creating one point in the middle. So this is a very nice job from Pontus. If he would have taken the secondary too much, it wouldn't have been worse. Then we would just have set the clearance angle again, as we did. So we will have put this back at 11. Pontus, can you lock it? Thank you. and we would have put it back on the primaries, and we could just have sharpened the primaries again, and then the secondaries.
And then the secondary again.
So it's not the end of the world. Now you were so good, so you didn't make the mistake, but just...
That's a very common mistake, that you sharpen away the secondary bevel, and
too far.
The point is away.
Yeah.
So you just go back and do the primary facet again.
Exactly.
And then the secondary. So
great. I will do a quick recap before I let you hone, which is the last step. So the steps are: first, the distance. Second, put this in, and you put the point angle, which was 118 in this case. Then you put the clearance angle like this, and then
you set the...
you look which size you have, 118. You set the protrusion, and you make sure that you're aligned. Then you do the primaries there, loosen it, put the drill bit holder on the secondary, touch it, one turn, and sharpen, and we're done.
Yes.
Quick recap from what Pontus just learned me. Then, good catch. Then after we've done this, we can hone.
We do on this side. We have the honing wheel, leather honing wheel. Take the outside, and then we have this profile leather honing wheel, LA 120. You can do the inside. I don't know if you can see. You want to have some lights on?
It's difficult to see. I'm looking at it, but it looks like the enhancement on the picture I did.
Yeah.
Great. I will see if we have any questions from our viewers. We have a lot of greetings from all over the world, from the US, from Denmark, from Sweden. We also have someone speaking Spanish, and we have a Philippe who says bonjour. Pourquoi pas en français? Why not in French? We will have it in French further on, but today is English.
Yes.
Bonjour Philippe. We also have South Africa, Nigel. Great. I think I will give you a couple of small tips regarding drill bit sharpening. One thing that I like to do sometimes, this is of course individual, it's not in the manual, but I like to sometimes put a small line on the wheel, just to make sure. So when I do the protrusion, which is okay, and then I make sure the lines are straight, more or less. And then when I set it down, I haven't set the clearance angle, have I? No. Thank you, I set the clearance angle. Can you hold that, Pontus? Thank you. There, it helps me, I don't know if you come closer, to make sure that I'm perfectly aligned straight. So if I'm straight on that straight line, it means that I have put the primer perfectly aligned with the line on the drill bit holder. It's not necessary, it's not in the handbook, but it's a small tip that I find useful, that you can take with you. Also, when you sharpen, don't put too much pressure, especially here on the front, because you might tilt it up. and then you will lose.
Yeah.
So if you put pressure, put more pressure here on at the top. Could be a good tip. Also, sorry.
Yeah, I can show you. I think this they have designed this jig as you can see. You hold your finger down here,
Yeah.
and your thumb up here,
Yeah.
and then you have your thumb here, down
Yeah.
here, and then you have your fingers here.
Yeah.
So everything is designed to how you should
Hold it.
your hands.
Perfect. Yes. Also, a tip could be that a drill. This is then the primaries, but the drill is turning all the way. So if you have a badly damaged drill and you will remove a lot of material, even though you would have your primaries perfectly aligned here, since you remove a lot of material, the primaries will twist further down in the drill. So if you know that you're going to remove a lot of material, what you can do is set the primary a bit counterclockwise.
Follow the other line.
Follow the other line, because then you will come to the primaries. Just a small tip if you're going to remove a lot of material.
And also you can, if you have smaller drill bits, it can be, if you use this original stone, you can make it smoother using the stone grader and make it don't take so
aggressive, to take less material.
Yeah. And the same thing, if you have a big 22 millimeters drill bit, you might have it a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
so
you
can use the stone grader to make it more aggressive.
Good. What we also do sometimes here is that we get support questions at Tormek, and I have had a couple of support questions on the drill bit jig. And what happens sometimes is when you sharpen several drill bits in a row, if you remember when you were turning down this half a turn, and then when you do the next drill bit, people often forget to place it at 0 all the way up again, which is, so if you make 5 drill bits, you come further and further down. So the relation between the primary and secondary becomes more and more off.
Yeah.
This is a common error we see people do. So remember, between every drill bit, when you do the next drill bit, take it back up all the way. Good. I will see questions. I will try to see how small of a bit can it handle, down to 3 millimeters mass. Mark asked. Lyndon Scott is asking, any tips for keeping the edge symmetrical? No, the tip is to be very careful and take some time when you set it here, so you are perfectly aligned on the line. That is the most important.
Yeah.
And also thinking, if you remove a lot of material, you have sometimes to adjust it, so since they are twisting.
Yeah, I can see the drill I made here. It's a little bit, not exactly. It's a little bit. It could be a little bit more.
It's not perfectly straight when you set it.
No.
So the setting is really key to put it on the line there. But with that said, even if it's not perfectly symmetrical,
it will work, but
it will work very well and better than all your other drills. Yeah. But still, it's often, if you don't get it symmetrical, it's that you haven't put it perfectly along the lines.
No, so you can just, if you notice it immediately, you can just
adjust it.
Yeah.
If you see, when you start sharpening and you see that, I won't become perfectly symmetrical, you can adjust it then and keep sharpening.
Yes.
Good. And my small black line trick can also be of help.
Also. But that's the tricky one in this setting, I think.
Yeah.
To get this.
But I would say it's often with all Tormek things, put a little extra time in settings, so you get it right from the beginning. You will earn
save money.
Save time afterwards. Yeah. It's like whatever, if it's knives, chisels, whatever. If you set the angle perfectly right from the beginning, it's very quick. If you set it differently, it takes longer. Great. I will see more questions. What about brad point bits? I'm not sure what a brad point bit is. Byron is asking. Byron, please send your question to support@tormek.se, and I will Google Translate what, I don't even remember the name now, and I will see if we can sharpen them. You don't know what it's either, I would guess. Then we have spade bits. Mark is asking, I'm not sure of what that is either. So same for you, Mark. Send it to support@tormek.se. LB, if you need to remove too much drill material, should you realign parallelism? Yeah, exactly, LB. That's so when you take away a lot of material, it will twist, so you have to realign it perfectly straight again.
And also set the protrusion again.
Yeah, if you take a lot, you have to reset the protrusion because... Great. I think we're getting close to the then.
De här betongbord.
Yes, that could be a good thing. Thank you, Pontus. Concrete drills, we get questions sometimes. You can sharpen the primary facets of a concrete drill. You don't have 4 facets, you only have 2 facets. So you can't use the DBS to its full extent, but you can still sharpen the primaries, which already does a huge difference and works very well.
Yeah.
So if you have concrete drills, please use it, but just do the primaries and skip the rest. Great, I think we're getting close to the end in today's special. I hope you viewers had a good time, and perhaps even more important, that you learned something. Thank you, Pontus. You're a natural in front of the camera.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Emma. Stable as always. Remember, if you have more questions, ask them below in the commentary. We'll try to answer them as best as we can. Or you email support@tormek.se. Thank you, all the viewers. See you next episode. Until then, stay safe and stay sharp. Thank you.